There are moments in life when silence feels safer than speaking. And then there are moments when silence becomes unbearable. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering the internet has decided someone you love is gone. Not sick, not struggling, but dead. Imagine reading condolences for a loss that never happened. Imagine friends calling in panic. Imagine strangers grieving a lie. And now imagine having to explain to the world that the person you love is still very much alive. Tonight, we explore the moment Ripa finally drew the line, after cruel and careless death rumors about her husband, Mark Consuelos, spread like wildfire online. This isn't gossip. This isn't celebrity drama. This is a story about dignity, about boundaries, and about the very real human cost of false headlines. And before this story ends, you may find yourself asking a powerful question. When does silence stop being graceful and start becoming dangerous? Stay with us. Rumors used to travel by whisper. Now they travel by algorithm. One post becomes 10. 10 become 1,000. And suddenly, something false begins to feel real. For Ripa, the rumor didn't begin with a headline from a trusted source. It began in the shadows of the internet. Vague posts, misleading thumbnails, and heartless clickbait designed to provoke fear. R.I.P. Mark. Tragic news confirmed. Ripa devastated. Words with no truth behind them, but enormous emotional weight. And here's what makes this especially cruel. When death rumors spread, they don't just affect the person named. They ripple outward to children, parents, friends, co-workers, and viewers who have welcomed these people into their homes for decades. For many Americans in their 60s, Ripa isn't just a celebrity. She's a familiar presence, a morning ritual, a warm smile shared over coffee. And when familiar faces are suddenly declared gone, it shakes something deeper than curiosity. It shakes trust. But at first, Kelly said nothing.
Why?
Because people of her generation were taught something important. Don't give oxygen to nonsense. Don't dignify lies with attention. Yet what happens when the lie refuses to disappear? That's when the story takes a turn. Silence can be elegant, but silence can also be exhausting. Behind the scenes, phones rang. Messages flooded in. Loved ones asked questions no one should have to answer. Is Mark okay? Did something happen? Why are people saying this? And with every question came a reminder that something sacred was being violated, not just privacy, but peace. Ripa is known for her humor, her composure, her light-hearted charm. But those closest to her noticed something different. A weariness, a restraint, a quiet anger carefully held back. Because this wasn't just misinformation, it was emotional vandalism. And here's the part that many people don't consider. For those who have lived long enough to lose parents, siblings, friends, and partners, death is not entertainment. It is not clickable content. It is memory. It is grief. It is sacred. And Kelly knew something had to change. But she also knew that when she finally spoke, her words would need to matter. So she waited. And when she spoke, she didn't whisper. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't theatrical. That's what made it powerful. With calm clarity and unmistakable resolve, Ripa addressed the rumors directly, shutting them down with words that landed heavier than anger ever could. This isn't a joke. 6 simple words. And suddenly, the room changed. She didn't plead. She didn't beg for sympathy. She didn't sensationalize the pain. She did something far more commanding. She set a boundary. By saying this isn't a joke, Kelly reminded the world that behind every viral lie is a real family, waking up, going to work, loving each other, and deserving of peace. For viewers in their 60s, this moment resonated deeply, because it echoed something many have felt but rarely say out loud. There are lines you don't cross. There are things you don't joke about. And there comes a time when you must speak, not to entertain, but to protect. But the most surprising part? Kelly didn't just defend Mark. She defended everyone who has ever been hurt by careless words. And that's when this story became bigger than celebrity. This wasn't about correcting a rumor. It was about reclaiming humanity in an age that often forgets it. In a world where attention is currency, death has become a headline, stripped of reverence, reduced to engagement. Kelly's response reminded viewers, especially those who grew up before the internet, that decency still matters, that truth still matters, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is calmly say, enough. For many older Americans watching, this moment struck a personal chord. They've seen how rumors hurt families. They've seen how false stories fracture trust. They've lived through eras when words were chosen carefully, not carelessly thrown into the void. Kelly didn't raise her voice. She raised a standard. And by doing so, she challenged all of us to ask, what kind of world do we want to pass on, one built on truth or one fueled by clicks? But this story isn't over yet, because the aftermath revealed something even more powerful. Something remarkable happened after Kelly drew the line. The noise began to fade. Viewers spoke up. Fans pushed back. False videos were reported. And suddenly, the same internet that spread the rumor began correcting it. Not perfectly, not instantly, but meaningfully. And that's the quiet victory here. Not that the rumor disappeared overnight, but that truth found its voice. Kelly Ripa didn't just shut down a lie. She modeled how to confront cruelty with dignity. She showed that strength doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks steady. Sometimes it looks composed. Sometimes it looks like 6 calm words spoken at exactly the right moment. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all, you don't have to be young to be relevant. You don't have to be loud to be heard. And you don't have to accept what's wrong just because it's popular. As the cameras turned off and the headlines moved on, one question lingered, quietly, persistently. How many other families are living through the same pain without a platform to speak? Kelly Ripa had a microphone. Most people don't. And that reality should make all of us pause. Because the next time we scroll, the next time we share,